Hey, welcome to Anna with Plants. My name is Anastasia. Thank you for joining me for today's video. Originally, I just wanted to do a 100% talking to the camera plant commentary style video, but then I thought about it and I'm like, why not just have my hands busy and be doing some plant chores while I'm doing it? The main focus of the video is actually the topic at hand, which is going to be 10 things I still do not understand about the plant hobby. And some of these are meant to be not taken seriously, and then others I genuinely want somebody to explain why this is a thing and why I still don't understand this. That's gonna be the main focus. In terms of the plant chores I'll be doing, I will just be quickly as possibly going through the remaining anthurium that I'm transitioning from my old mix into the new mix. I'm sure a lot of you guys know I have been transitioning all of my anthurium from the tree fern pond mix I was using in 2024 to a new mix, and this is the new mix here. It consists of orchiata, orchid bark, and a power plus, perlite, chunky coarse perlite, and moss petals. I was actually able to track down a person who had moss petals, and for a pretty decent price. So I was able to order 5 gallons of moss petals. So I'm actually really excited to test this out, since I was a little bit worried about the strands of moss. So at least this will kind of give me a little bit more peace of mind, but all of the plants that I did pot in the moss strands mix have been doing okay. That is what we have on the agenda today. I am gonna introduce plants as I pick them out, but mainly we are gonna be sticking to our talking points. The first plant I want to bring out is probably the least ugly plant I have. This is my anthurium pallidiflorum. She's actually very, very long now. The newest leaf I have on her, let me see. This is the newest leaf that I have on her. She's still a little bit floppy, so I'll try to be gentle with her. I really don't know how long this leaf is. And she's also flowering. You can see this is a female stage right now with the stigmatic fluid on there. She's looking real good. She's just been hanging in pretty low light in my kitchen window and just living her best life, and I love to see that. However, she is in the old mix, and as you can see, it is very, very dried out, and I think she'll do wonderful in the new substrate. So let's get her unpotted. Side note, how awesome is the frame right now? I finally was able to figure out my lens. You can see the potting mat so well, but then also me at the same time, and I'm like kicking myself that I am so bad with cameras, because I should have figured this out so long ago. So the first thing that I still don't understand about the plant hobby is, well, it is a commentary on plant supplies. However, specifically, this is my one thing that I still don't understand. So if you happen to purchase in bulk, or you happen to sell pots, this might be something you can illuminate for me. Oh, this is actually not, okay, well, actually there's a bit of dry rot in the middle. I honestly much prefer dry rot to wet rot. You can just see the dry rot in the middle there. Back to the thing that I don't understand. Why is it so hard to find plant containers, pots, that are large and for a price that's not going to be an arm and a leg? Specifically, it's the scarcity that I don't understand. And what I'm talking about is also clear pots, because I do like to use clear pots. Anything above 8 inches, so I am talking about the 9 to 12 inch pot sizes. There's plenty of them in black nursery containers. Those are very easy to find anywhere in your Lowe's, Home Depot. They are very easy to track down. So it's gotta be maybe like a niche thing. It's been so hard for me to find large 9 to 12 inch clear pots. I don't know why. It's just a thing. Okay, sorry guys, we're back. I had to rinse off the roots and move the substrate and then get the majority of the dry rot off. I'm pretty happy with what we have left, although there was quite a bit that was rotted away. We're just going to proceed with the repot as is. So please somebody explain to me why this is a thing. I was able to track down some okay priced large clear pots. From time to time, we'll order from a site called Quarter Acre Orchids. I will put them down below. The only thing I don't like though is, yes, the pots aren't like outrageously priced. The only thing is the shipping is quite high. If you guys know the hookup for some really large clear pots that are like ideally less than $10, I'd be really curious to know where you get them from. And I know that people say AliExpress or Alibaba is a good place to get them. And I did look into it. However, you have to buy in bulk. And when I mean bulk, I mean like hundreds of units. I just need 2 or 3. I don't really need that many. They're cheap, you know, they're like 20 cents. But then when you look at the shipping cost from overseas, it's hundreds of dollars to get it shipped here. That's not really an answer for me to that issue. And the thing is, like, it's just plastic, man. It can't be that expensive to make, and I'm sure it's not if they're able to buy it in bulk for 20 cents. That is an elusive thing to me. We are actually looking so much better. I feel so good about this repot. I think it'll do much, much better in the substrate. You can see the roots on the side here. And again, this is why I love clear pots, because I want to see how plants are doing after repots. If you got the confidence to repot plants and see them grow in a container that's like totally black and you can't see anything into, I'm all here for your confidence. I don't have that kind of confidence. Will I ever? Next, we're gonna move into a plant that needed to be repotted and checked out a long time ago. Let's take the moss off the top. So this is my Hue King of Spades from Cartel Down, and I'm not joking when I say like the majority of these plants are quite ugly. This is a mystery to me because the roots are okay. It's just the leaves are not happy. Ooh, and that leaf just fell off. Next thing that I want to talk about that I don't understand is, are y'all still using neem oil? Remember how neem oil had a really big moment with any pest or plant problem? People were just like, oh, put some neem oil on that. It really reminded me of, if anybody saw Big Fat Greek Wedding, where the dad in the movie used Windex to solve any problem. That is neem oil in the plant community. And my thing that I don't understand is, how are you using this stuff? Because it smells horrible. How can you get over the smell? And when I was first in the plant hobby, you know, brand spanking new, I did buy myself some neem oil and, you know, I put it in a spray bottle and diluted it, and it smells god awful. It's just anything you spray on it, it just smells like that. I don't think that smell really goes away. Are you guys using it for outside plants, or are you spraying it in your home? Because dear Lord, that is not a good smell. This root system looks fantastic. I have absolutely no idea why this plant is throwing a hissy fit. I know King of Spades can be like that, and this was an import, obviously. It should be doing better. Like, even the import roots, yeah, there are a little bit of rotty import roots, which is to be expected, but not the worst by far I've seen. But yeah, but look at the root system. It's not bad. It's actually pretty good. And then we even have some growth points, so I don't know. Maybe it's trying to make a comeback. This is a mystery to me. Just going to wash it off real quick, and then we will continue on my confusion with neem oil. We're back. The roots are rinsed. I think I'm actually gonna pot it in this tall pot. Yeah, how do you guys use it to not make it smell like that? And I don't think I'm interested in kind of going back to it. I haven't used neem oil in probably years. One thing that you guys may or may not know is there's a product out there that actually contains the active ingredient of neem oil. It's called Azamax. And I have used that before. I actually wrote down the active ingredient in neem oil and also in Azamax. Azadirachtin? I have no idea if I said that right. I'll go ahead and pop it up. But yeah, if you do use neem oil still, I'd be curious to know how you make it work, because I haven't been able to get past the smell for me. It's just, whew, man. It's too much. It's too much. I totally was not expecting to upsize things, so I might actually have to mix some more. Here's the hue. It looks very, very silly in this large pot. We're gonna move into the plant that famously hates me. This is my clarinervium. I bought this as a king clary from Green Escape. I don't think that was accurate. This doesn't really look like a king clary. I'll go ahead and pop up some pics of what I know king clarinervium, or what I guess expected it to look like. And it ain't this. But appearances aside, anytime it puts out a leaf, it just tends to crisp up the other leaves. And so I'm thinking I have it in hydro and it's in pon and leca, and that stuff generally doesn't really dry out. I'm gonna switch up the substrate. Hopefully that'll solve that problem. And I know it can hold on to more than a couple leaves because I've seen other people's claries and they're very, very pretty. So I don't know what its problem is with me. I'm gonna lose some roots. I already know that. Yeah, maybe it's just staying too wet. Maybe it was just root bound. I don't know. Look at the roots. It is in a perfect circle, just winding around the bottom. So it was time for a repot anyway. Okay, next thing that I don't understand about the plant hobby. I've heard this many a times, and this is something that I might just be ignorant on. I am totally open to being called out on not knowing this. So when people say they overwater, when I hear overwatering, I hear you are watering too often, not watering too much by volume. There are exceptions to this. I am mainly talking about a container with drainage. So no, drainage doesn't count because the volume will matter if the water can't drain through properly. I'm actually gonna put it in a pretty large container. I think this is an 8-inch, just because look at this root system. I'm sure it'll fill it out in no time. The only thing is I don't know if I'm gonna have enough substrate for this. So I'm actually gonna reuse some of the larger rocks on the bottom. And then I'm just gonna fill it in. So yes, overwatering for me is about how often you do it, not how much you give the plant. And I feel like this confuses people when they say, oh, I overwatered. It means different things, I think, for different people. But for me, I've always seen it as you watered it too soon. So am I wrong, or is this just like a thing that needs to be clarified more? I'm confused. I need somebody to explain this to me. And I think the other condition that this might apply to volume is maybe if the mix you have just retained so much water that you can't drain it through. I'm sure there are mediums out there that are really non-draining. They're that dense. Yeah, this didn't even fill the whole container. So I'm gonna have to mix some more substrate and I'll be right back. All right, we're back in business. Very quick mix of everything. And I'm just gonna top this off. And we're gonna move on to the next thing that I don't understand about the plant hobby. That is when people buy a plant just for its name, and it's basically regardless of how that specific plant that they're buying appears. Sometimes with imports, they'll say like, oh, here's the plants that we have that are under that name. However, this is not the plant that you're going to be receiving. So you don't even really know what that plant looks like. And this is also especially for anthurium, because anthurium are they have unique characteristics. Even if it's under the same species or a cross, they're going to be quite different. If a plant is popular and you're just trying to buy it for its name, why would you spend the money when you don't know what kind of plant you're getting at the end of the day? So say you're trying to buy a red crystal, right? There's so much variability in red crystallinum in terms of emergent color, veination, shape, the list goes on. Why are you just gonna buy a generic, oh, this is a red crystal, without knowing what exact plant you're getting. By the way, this is all done. And look at this giant pot for these giant roots. Okay, hopefully it starts doing better. We're gonna be swiftly moving on to, let's do a smaller one here. Don't know what this is. I think it's a pink lemonade cross with something else. I have two of these and this one just happens to not have a tag on it. I'll have to pop that up. When you see like a stock photo, and sometimes the stock photos are even used, it's probably not even their photo. I guess brand names really do go a long way during this time in the plant community, but now I'm just at the point of like, I want to see the plant that I'm buying unless I've purchased before and I kind of trust that person. This one actually, the roots look pretty good. Look at that. It's gonna go into something like this. I think it'll be happy in here. But I think the tides are turning. I think people are asking more questions when it comes to purchasing plants. Hopefully there's not as many scams happening and all of that. Good things, good things. So this one was a super quick one. I think I'm gonna add a little bit of like a touch more moss in here. That looks better. Let's do the next one, which is this one. This is a Pap Lux crossed with a dressleri. This is the exact cross. Let's see what we find in here. The emergent is looking beat up. The winter has not been kind to my anthurium. Next thing that I don't understand about the plant hobby is when people give plant advice and it's a very my way or the highway type of attitude. I have commented on it is quite annoying when people don't disclose their growing conditions, where they live, their humidity, temperatures, like all that kind of stuff. I have talked about that in the past, but this one is specifically, I don't understand this like all, never, only attitude. I hope I haven't done that before when I'm trying to give plant advice on this channel. Like I try to always do a disclaimer, just so you know, this is what works for me, it might not work for you type of thing. But I still see people out there that are like, oh, I never do that. I only do this. How do you know that's gonna work for someone else who lives in a drastically different environment than you do? You don't, you really don't. It's like everything needs to be taken with a grain of salt. Okay, can't we just like agree to disagree on this? Let me wash off the roots. They actually don't look too bad. I'll be right back. We're back and I'm gonna use one of these tall medium containers for the roots. Because we grow our plants in our homes, right? This is a house plant channel. We all own house plants. Even if you live on the same street as a person, you and your neighbor will have different growing conditions inside your homes, even though you live in the exact same place, because who knows how often the heating is on, the AC, how close the plants are to a light source. You know, all of these individual factors go into play. It just, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand. This plant is all done. Hopefully it'll like its new home. This is definitely an ugly and a sad one. I didn't have luck with these types of style containers. It just really dried out my substrate. I don't know, or maybe that's on me for not watering appropriately. The plants that I transferred over here went through it. It's a crystal mag from Tazula crossed with a Carla. Here it is. This is the exact plant. Seen better days. Oh yeah, this is like dried. Next thing I don't understand is buying a plant when it's at its peak pricing. You know, it just came on the market and it's going for like thousands of dollars and not a lot of people own it. When you don't have like a plant shop, you know, you're just like a private collector. I'm sure these people know that the price is going to drop. Sometimes drastically and quickly, other times not as much. But again, I don't think that's a concern to these people. I guess like my question, and this is not like a serious thing, but it's like, what kind of jobs do these people have that they can just buy a plant for thousands of dollars when it just hits the market and not think about it, you know? So despite that being very, very dry. None of the roots actually rotted off, which is nice. There's no dry rot in here. We'll just upsize the pot slightly and go from there. And this isn't a commentary on what people choose to spend their money on, you know, do what you want with it, but I can't be the only one that sees this happening and just ponder to myself, oh, okay, this is like a thing. People will buy plants for thousands of dollars, and I'm talking about like thousands. During COVID, it was like tens of thousands of dollars. They do start to depreciate in value. They might actually go back up at a time if you hold on to a plant long enough for it to be popular, then unpopular, then back to being popular again. I don't think there's really like an answer to that one, just an interesting observation that I'm sure I'm not alone in having. This one is also done. I really hope it gives me an okay looking leaf. This is a sad one to look at. Next thing that I don't understand, this is, oh, let me introduce the plant first. This is a Carla forgetii. I have two of these. This is one. This one has a lot more veins than the other one. This is quite a messed up emergent. Next thing I don't understand is when people hate on people who water on a schedule. I water on a schedule. I have over 200 plants. I don't have time daily to check on my plants. Again, I have a full-time job and I water on Saturdays, and that's my main day to water. Like I might top up on my day off, which is a Wednesday, but I think if you can tailor your environment and your mix and your conditions where the majority of your plants only need to be watered that one time per week, why can't you water on a schedule? Right? A small percentage of plants might go too dry or they might go too wet, and in that you can hold off. So I just lost a bunch of healthy roots. That was sad. This is what we have here. I think I might actually put this one into moss instead of the mix. I think it needs to grow a little bit more roots, especially since I accidentally took these off. I'm sure there are people that check on their plants each day and will, you know, keep track of that. And I'm sure there are apps that do help you water daily and keep track of when you should. However, do people have time, genuinely have time each day to water plants? Because I don't. I really don't. This is something that evades me. The next thing that I don't understand is totally a preference thing, and I don't mean to yuck anyone's yum. It's just like a double thing for me. So it's about variegated anthurium, and I don't understand why they're so expensive when they're so ugly. And that might seem harsh. Again, if you love the look of them, I'm sorry. You know, I'm sure there are things that I like that you don't like. The thing that I don't understand is if they're so unappealing to a good majority of people, because I think that is like a general thing where people don't like the look of them. They just look a little bit ill. Why are they so expensive? Is it because it's rare for them and therefore, and when I'm talking about expensive, I'm saying like a medium-sized plant goes for like $1,000 easy. I don't understand it. I really don't. They look ill, especially the yellow ones. The only anthurium that I've seen that look nice are like the pink ones. Steve's Leaves has one called Chuck Norris that I think looks quite unique and nice, but I'm sure to get like a cutting of that plant is like thousands and thousands of dollars. To me, it's not worth it. This is a preference thing. So is it rareness, scarcity? I'm sure it's harder to grow because they do have that variegation. Again, I don't understand. This one got repotted to moss, and look at how cute it is. I really love the veins on this one. We're down to our last thing that I don't understand, and also I think this is the last plant. So that was actually, oh no, there's two left. Which one do I want to do more? This is my Goliath from Cartel Down. It's seen better days. It doesn't look quite horrific, but also I'm sure it's not happy. Oof, it's got a lot of that, the fungus among us. Oh, speaking about fungus, the new season of Last of Us is coming out in April, which is going to be like the best birthday gift to me ever. I swear shows are taking forever to come out with new seasons. Very random. Okay, back to the topic on hand. And the last thing I don't understand is, do spider mites have a zombie gene? Honestly, like kidding, but not kidding, those things seem to never die. Or maybe it's not the same ones and it's different ones and they reproduce really quickly. Let me show you the roots real quick. They don't look too bad. I'm just gonna put it in a medium container. So you know how in hospitals there's a bacteria that literally is resistant to the majority of antibiotics we have? What if spider mites also mutated to just be immune to pest treatments and whatnot, and that's why they just live forever in your collection? Because the other pests, yes, they're annoying, mealies and thrips. I feel like you can treat them to make them go away. However, spider mites, just when you think you have them under control, they just show up and they destroy your emergent leaves. So scientists, they really need to study spider mites to see if they have some sort of immortality gene that then can be used to help us, because I don't know what's going on with their code, their DNA, but they got something in there that really increases their chance of survival. And in my humble opinion, they are the most persistent pests to have. They are a plague. An actual plague. Okay, complaining about spider mites aside, we finished up the Goliath, and I am really loving these tall pots. I think they're just so perfect for anthurium. Not only does it give their roots more space, the pots also don't take up as much space on your shelves, so gotta love that. So let me just line up all the plants we did real quick, and then we'll finish out the video. So we repotted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plants, and we talked about 10 things that I don't understand. If you have any things that you still don't understand about the plant hobby, please comment down below, because I would like to hear your opinion, and also if you maybe agree with me on any of these, or if you can illuminate some things for me. That being said, I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.